Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviyam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om and good evening from Raleigh. Ramayana is the ayana of Rama. That is the path, that is the steps of Bhagwan Rama. Ramayana can also be understood as the path, the steps to Rama, which is ramyate, to revel, to be independently joyous. A subtle, almost secretive teaching of Ramayana. Sri Lakshmana says this sometimes, Maricha says this sometimes. I've been able to study each chopai of Ramayana twice now, and it's becoming more apparent to me. Sri Lakshmana, Maricha, they say that Bhagwan Rama reveals himself to whom he chooses to reveal himself. He enlightens those whom he wishes to enlighten. For all of us who are engaged in sadhana, we practice our japa, we practice our dhyana. We feel like we are doing this and we feel good about this. My mind is becoming more pure, I'm more balanced. Where did that thought come from? Who put that thought in your mind to engage in japa? Who lets go of those thoughts when you're engaged in contemplation? As sadhakas, as seekers, it is difficult, initially, difficult to accept that even our own sadhana is facilitated by Bhagavan. Still, this is a lesson, this is a thought that has to be accepted, has to be absorbed. And at a very tactile level, all of us being in this Bhagavad Gita course is part of Bhagwan's Leela, isn't it? Prince Arjuna's fear, Bhagwan Krishna's answers, the idea of the Chinmaya International Foundation, Guruji designing this course, you signing up for the course, me having a Wi-Fi connection. This is all part of Bhagwan's Leela. The more we understand and appreciate this, the more we let go of this illusion of control. Let go of the ego. Chapter 10 of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, I'm going to last week, is a technique in concentrating on what's happening outside so that we start to feel the same inside. When I start to concentrate on the weather, when I start to concentrate on car makers, when I start to concentrate on my hands, I start to see more than just my fingers. How are these hands working? Why are they working? And by doing so, I start to concentrate on who am I? What is my potential? And using very technical terminology to this, when I'm able to grasp vibhuti, deeper than vibhuti is yoga. And deeper than yoga is tattva. From outside to inside. I change the words. And you know these words. I go from srishti, that is creation, to shakti, that is the creator, to Shiva, which is consciousness. But how do you get to consciousness? By concentrating on creation. Which is why in so many classes, so many courses, I tell people being distracted is dangerous. It is dangerous to drive distracted. It is dangerous to be married when you're distracted. It is dangerous because it impedes happiness from realizing one's divine nature. I'm going to simplify this some more. We have a lot of people who are new to this particular thought flow. Bhagavan is teaching us, teaching Prince Arjuna in chapter 10, not to take for granted what is happening outside. And if I stop taking for granted what's happening outside, I stop taking for granted what's happening inside. Remember I told all of you, when Sheila and I started traveling across Canada over 2 years, we were leveled by how beautiful Canada is. We always joke, especially in America, about how beautiful Canada is. But for 2 years, we got to experience the glaciers, the mountains, the lakes, and we've been living here for decades. What were we doing? See, if we can appreciate our country more, we can start to appreciate our parents more. We can start to appreciate our bodies more. We can start to appreciate how the mind works more, and more and more and more. Stop taking for granted your living, your life, and continuing on with this chapter, to complete chapter 10, to deepen causation hunting. Pujya Swami Chinmayananda says an activity of the intellect is causation hunting. We should deepen that causation hunting from just creation and start to bring it to what is the basis for creation, to start to tune into the Creator. I'm on 10.5, 10.6. From chapter 7 to present, Bhagavan is slowly shifting the message from Prince Arjuna, that is Tvam, to himself, that is Tat. Bhagavan is sharing, it is I who will show you who I am. Before it was Prince Arjuna, lift yourself by yourself. But now he's shifting it to, I will show you, I will give you this knowledge. So the question right now is, how to understand and appreciate the Creator. How to go from creation to the Creator. It is through the Creator's grace that one comes to understand and appreciate the Creator. How do you know the sun is in the sky? Through sunlight, correct? It's like sunlight is the grace of the sun. It is through the Creator's grace that we come to be drawn to the Creator. And I'll give you some references to this. Shabariji in Aranyakanda of Ramayana. She's a Billini. A Billini means a tribal woman. She knows nothing in terms of literacy like you and I do. Yet, she has this attraction to self-development, and so an attraction to Matanga Rishi. And Matanga Rishi tells Shabariji that I'm leaving the ashram now. And she says, give me a message. Like Acharya Shankar's disciples. Tell me, how do we live up to you, Sadhana Panchaka? He gives her the Mahamantra. Shriram, Jairam, Jai Jairam. And she says, what does this even mean? And he says, don't worry. Whoever you're calling out will come and explain to you what this name means. Great guru, teaching in koans, the mind goes faster than the mind. Oh, okay, I get it. But really the greatness is in addition to Matanga Rishi, is that Shabariji had supreme Shraddha. This is Paraya Shraddha that will come up in chapter 12. Her guru said to chant this mantra, and every day she would prepare the ashram, she would prepare the berries. Every day Bhagwan Rama would not come. She would not be dejected, and one day Bhagwan Rama came. And Bhagwan Rama graced this Billini, this tribal woman, with moksha. What is the meaning of Hare Rama? Shri Ram, Jai Jai Ram? Any Ram mantra is Ram, is joy. So how am I supposed to know the Creator? Through the Creator's grace. In this example, I'm giving Shabari. And not just Shabari. If you study Aranyakanda, Sutikshna, he gets moksha. Sutikshna is this able student. You have Shabariji. She's this incapable woman. I'm not highlighting the woman part like some people do and pick on that. I'm picking on the illiterate part. You have a literate person, you have an illiterate person. In this chapter, Maricha receives moksha too, isn't it? Maricha is the uncle of Ravana. Maricha is the cause that Mother Sita gets captured. He's graced also. And this chapter ends with Jatayu invoking moksha, no? Bhagwan Rama is holding Jatayu's head in his lap. He's bleeding away from his cut wings. And Bhagwan Rama is stroking his head and performs his funeral rites. Even Raja Dashratha didn't get that privilege, isn't it? So all of Aranyakanda is showing us, if you want to know the Creator, it's only through the Creator's grace. If Bhagwan wants to reveal himself to you, it's up to Bhagwan. So what should we do? Har Har Mahadev, isn't it? Om Namah Parvati Pataye. You're all like, Har Har Mahadev. With full hands, Har Har Mahadev. Now it's too late, okay? There's a beautiful shloka in chapter 10. All are beautiful, but I'm referencing. In each chapter, I'm going to give you 2 shlokas to work with. This is shloka 10 of chapter 10. Bhagwan says here, Tesham satata yuktanam bhajatam priti purvakam dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti te. Tesham, those, satata yuktanam, those who are sincere. What are they engaged in? Bhaja. Sing, seek, serve, worship, love, be. Don't say I'm moving too fast. I've explained this 1,000 times. Priti Purvakam, and they're doing this with love. To them, dadami. Dadami means Bhagwan is giving. Giving what? Buddhi Yoga. Teaching them to see what they can't see right now. Yena mam upayanti. Upayanti, they come back from creation to the Creator. They are sincere with living for Bhagwan. And this is exactly what Acharya Shankara told his most capable disciples. What was the first sadhana in Sadhana Panchakam? Vedo nityamadhiyatam, which means to reflect on the breath of God, the words of God. When? Nitya. Satata Nitya are the same words, isn't it? These all overlap over each other. Do you want creation or do you want the Creator? Think. What do you work for? Do you work for creation or do you work for the Creator? Do you pray for creation or do you pray for the Creator? Think. In our Atma Bodha class, I think the raw was come up with your own Mahavakya. One of the discussion subjects was come up with your own Mahavakya. And not that you're asking me, but I'm controlling this class, so I'm going to tell you what my Mahavakya is. Bhagwan is my boss. That's my Mahavakya. Bhagwan is my boss. And if I know Bhagwan is my boss, then that means I have to work hard all the time, correct? Because my work is not 9 to 5. My work is not just with my family or just with me. Do we want creation or do we want the Creator? If we want the Creator will reveal himself or herself. Ask yourself, what do you want? Prince Arjuna wants the Creator. He didn't want the Creator at the beginning, correct? He didn't want anything, just escaping. But slowly, he got past his own selfishness, chapter 1 through 6. I'm not interested in me anymore. I'm interested in you. He is evolving. He is no longer taking Bhagwan for granted. He's now calling Bhagwan, Bhagwan. Such a beautiful portion of Srimad Bhagavad Gita is shlokas 12 through 18. I think this is the longest stretch of shlokas of Prince Arjuna that is uninterrupted. Not a dialogue back and forth. It's just Prince Arjuna describing Bhagavan Krishna almost like a stuti. Srimad Bhagavatam is famous for its praises of Bhagavan. Here Prince Arjuna is doing that. We rarely study that, isn't it? Did any of you know that? That's why these courses are so important. So we get to see parts of the scripture we don't usually get to see. For all of you who visit Niagara Falls, I grew up in the tourist industry. I literally was born on top of a store that sold t-shirts. And I love when people come to Niagara Falls for the first time, because I like showing them parts of Niagara Falls that they just don't know. Like throughout our yatra, when people say, Vivekji, where are you from? And I say, I live in Niagara Falls. They're just, you live in the water? So here, nobody knows life more than Bhagavan Krishna, and now Prince Arjuna. We should be like him too, this stuti. There's not a lot of teaching in what we've studied so far in this chapter. If you go through the funnel of our study, you start at Shruti. Shruti is the most abstract. It requires a lot of engagement to pull out a practice. Smriti is pseudo-abstract, like Srimad Bhagavad Gita. There's not a lot of do this, don't do this. So you still have to work hard to pull out a practice. But the Puranas and Itihasas, the Prakarana Granthas, they're less abstract. It's much easier to pull out a practice, like in Bhaja Govindam, Ramayana, and so on. So if you're finding this difficult, how do I practice this? Don't feel overwhelmed. It just means we have to connect with this more to get that power. If your iPhone is connected to a plug, but it's not charging, what's the problem? You haven't connected that plug to your iPhone, right? Or it's shaky, especially in India. So many of the rooms I stayed in that had heaters, those heaters were on fire. There was burning plastic every night. I would rather, I just took those heaters out. To help us pull out a practice from what we've studied so far. The practice is, don't waste time. The practice from all of the shlokas we've studied in chapter 10 right now, don't waste time. Us wasting time is me being more interested in creation than the Creator. Okay. So Prince Arjuna asks Bhagwan, show me the truth. Show me who you are. What can you do? And of course Bhagwan answers. And he doesn't answer in a small way, like your kids when you ask them, how is school? Good. What did you do? Stuff. I don't ask you about your day. Why do you ask me about about my day. Bhagwan answers in a large-hearted way. He gives like 80, that's 80, examples about how he is the greatest of the great. The greatest of all time. He is the goat. The Aja. Aja means goat. Aja also means unborn. See? He is the greatest of all time. Here are some 8 out of the 80 examples that Bhagwan shares, just to give you a feeling for this. I'll start with Shastra. This is like a subcategory that is Shastra, scripture. Bhagwan says all of the pravadatam. Pravadatam means all of the ways of communication. So this is like a subset. I am vadaha, which means of all of the forms of communication, I am dialogue. In Bhagavad Gita, we say samvada, correct? It's a more tight dialogue between Bhagwan and the jiva, or the guru and the shishya. We have a vada, but when it comes to Bhagwan, when it comes to a shishya like Prince Arjuna, we call that samvada. So of all forms of communication, I am vada. Bhagwan says, vidyanam, out of all knowledges, I am adhyatma. I am self-knowledge. Out of all knowledges, I am economics. He doesn't say that, or whatever we studied in university. Out of all knowledges, I am the knowledge of happiness. Atma Bodha is also known as Ananda Bodha, isn't it? I am Adhyatma. So there's a tasting of the Shastra. Next we go to Sadhu. There's lots of mentions to sadhus. Bhagavan says, Deva Rishi Nam, out of all of the Deva Rishis, I am Naradaji. Naradaji is tireless. We get tired by 2 time zones. We get tired by flying southwest because they don't have direct flights. Naradaji is tireless in talking about Narayana. Narayana. So you pick. I don't want to look like Naradaji. I don't know how to play the veena. What am I supposed to do? Be tireless. How? Bhagavad Gita course, 8:53 p.m. Muninam, out of all of the munis, I am Vyasa. Veda Vyasa. When people ask me what Vyasa means, I say visionary. Because really Vyasa means editor. You named your son editor. He edited the Veda, correct? But why did he edit the Veda? Because he's visionary. A muni means someone who's engaged in manana. When you think lots, you become a visionary. I gave you a sampling of Shastra and Sadhu. Next is Sadhana, practices, Sadhana Panchakam. Bhagavan says, out of the Damayatam. Damayatam means out of punishments, out of forms of rehabilitation, I am Danda. Danda means stick. And see how cool this is? Bhagavan says I'm Adhyatma Yoga and I'm a stick. How inclusive Bhagavan is. Here, the idea is when we do that which is wrong, when we engage in adharma, Bhagavan will make us feel like we've done something wrong. And that shows his love, isn't it? When someone criticizes you in a constructive way, it's because they care about you. So after class, hug your spouse. Danda, that feeling of, I need to be better. I need to follow dharma. He says, Samayatam, or samyamatam, out of all forms of control or discipline, I am Yamaha. This is where the word Yamaha, those motorcycles came from Yamaha. Yamaha means death. What can really put someone in their place is a near-death experience, isn't it? what can really make one appreciate someone that they care for is if they know they have a terminal illness. And on and on and on. Raja Parikshita is a great example of that. Yamaha. Lots to learn from death. I recently came to know that a lot of our yatris felt like they were actually going to die on the yatra. Like one yatri, and this is all told, not to my face, was told behind my back. One yatri thought she was not afraid of death, but she realized how afraid of death she is. Another yatri actually prepared a text saying, I'm dying right now, I love you all, and if the bus was falling down the cliff, she would have pressed send, but she didn't. It was in the save section, not in the send section. Good. That means the yatra fulfilled its purpose. So Yamaha. Sadhaka. We have to quickly finish. We're going to be kicked out of this library in a few minutes. Sadhaka. So I told you about Shastra, Sadhu, Sadhana. The fourth sampling is about Sadhaka. Indriyana. Out of all of the indriyas, out of all of the senses, I am the Manaha. I am the mind. The boss of the senses is the mind. When the mind is sleeping, so are the senses. See how deep that is? We would think hearing. Hearing is the greatest of the senses. Not true. It is the mind. And if you want to go even deeper, Bhutana. Out of all beings, I am Buddhi. Buddhi implies humans. Out of all beings, the ones who can get enlightened are humans with a capable Buddhi. I love this sampling that Bhagavan has shared here. He speaks in ways that you actually have to think. Lovely. This chapter finishes. Another shloka for you to contemplate on. Shloka 40. Nantosti mama divyanam vibhutinam parantapa eshatudheshata proktaha vibhutir vistaro maya. Bhagavan says, na antaha asti mama divyanam. There is no end to my divinity, to my vibhutis. Oh, Parantapa, you think you're great. Parantapa, the one who scorches foes, wait till you get a hold of me. He's saying that because comes chapter 11, right? I am 1,000 rising suns. If you burn people, I burn you. Awesome. Just visualizing this in your mind is so epic. Do you think Bahubali is great? This is the Bahubali of Bahubali. His name is Mahabaho, correct? Esha tu, Bhagavan says, this indeed, uddeshataha, in brief, proktaha, I have shared, vibhute vistaro maya, this is a sampling of my potential. And when he says my potential, you should be thinking your potential. If you're the supervisor for 100 employees, that's like holding a fire in a thali, when actually you are the sun. You're the awareness behind the sun. In Srimad Bhagavatam, 12 cantos, 18,000 verses. The whole Shastra, the focus is chapter or canto 10, which is about Bhagavan Krishna. There's a saying that the first 9 cantos are in preparation of the 10th canto. So one avatar. But actually, Srimad Bhagavatam is about Bhagavan Krishna and Bhagavan Rama. 2 avatars. But we all love classical Indian dancing. So how many avatars are there actually in Srimad Bhagavatam? 10 avatars. But in the beginning of Srimad Bhagavatam, Vedavyasa says there's 24 avatars that are focused on. Like Kapila, as an example. And throughout Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Shukadev, his father Vedavyasa, says there's actually infinite avatars. And included in that infinite avatara is you. The fulfillment of what we've studied thus far is for you to feel that you are an avatara of Bhagavan. In chapter 7, the summary for us was to know the divine. And chapter 8 was remember the divine. We talked a lot about death. What you remember, you become. In chapter 9 was feel the divine. It's more close. Know, remember, feel. And chapter 10 is see the divine. Seeing is believing. See the divine. Oh.